Hello, my name is Víctor Eduardo Yauri Merino. I'm a student of Pedagogía de los Idiomas Nacionales y Extranjeros. Here's my ID. Unfortunately, the material the ID is made of make it a little complicated to see it, but I can assure you that's me. Today, I want to show you my practicum 4.1 task about strategies for listening and speaking exercises. All right, I'm going to share the screen with you. And there we go. Good. All right, let's start. Okay, so as I told you, my task is about identifying the type of strategy of listening and speaking. And as you know, when practicing listening and speaking, there are a number of strategies that help us comprehend the language to get the message clearly and retain information in our minds, which is very important. The speaker has to select the correct strategy according to the audience, and the listener has to select the right strategy in order to fully understand message and infer any information behind the message. All right, so the speaker has to select the right strategies so the listener can fully comprehend the message, as well as the listener has to get the right strategy in order to comprehend the message. Okay, those strategies, let's see. The first one, predicting. Predicting is the act of combining what you already know with new information, all right? In order for prediction to take place, the learner has to be familiar with the topic being discussed, okay? So he has some prior knowledge. The speaker has to predict the best way to approach the audience according to vocabulary level, context, age, and topic. So the speaker has to be prepared. They has to know the level of the listeners, their context, all right, what's surrounding them, their age is very important, and that's, of course, the topic. The listener has to connect the new information, as I was saying, with the previous non-information in order to understand the message fully, good? So with prior knowledge and the new knowledge, he can predict the message. Next one, I have a lot. Self-talk. Self-talk is the voice inside our heads that we don't verbalize, okay? Self-talk can influence our behavior and emotions directly, okay? When we have an idea in our mind, we can repeat it to ourselves. Now, our self-talk can be positive, such as, I can manage this, and that helps us to manage stress, block our minds from negative thinking, okay? You have to have a positive self-talk. Give yourself some pep talk, right? We also have negative self-talk, such as, I'm not good enough for this, and that can bring us down. Self-talk can really affect our emotions and our behavior, right? So here I give you some benefits of positive self-talk: healthier immune system, reduce pain, better cardiovascular health, improve mental health, improve self-esteem, increase vitality, greater life satisfaction, reduce stress, better physical well-being, increase lifespan. Okay, so positive self-talk is very important. Let's go to the next strategy, self-questioning. Self-questioning is a useful strategy to help understand the meaning of a given message. Speakers and listeners need to ask as many questions as necessary in order to obtain the most information possible and understand the message fully, completely. When asking questions, both listeners and speakers can realize if the message is being delivered correctly. Good. So if you're the listener, please ask as many questions as necessary so you can be sure that you are getting the message. And the speaker can also ask questions to the listeners to make sure they are getting the message correctly. The speaker can also have some questions before the discourse, all right, before the speech, as of their age, their level, in order to make the speech more valuable. The next one, visualizing and creating images. Good. In this strategy, the learner uses prior knowledge to make a mental image. In order to create great mental image, the learner has to use all his or her senses. These images can be visual, emotional, kinesthetic, etc. Right? So as soon as you're getting some information, you can visualize the information, and you can use your prior knowledge, right? And have this image can be visual, something emotional, any movement, kinesthetic, and that can help you retain the information and fully understand it. Visualizing and creating images will improve the learner's memory, that's good, and improve of her abilities to make prediction and find hidden messages in the discourse, right? So creating images is also very helpful strategy. The next one, I love this one, code switching. Everybody code switches every day. During this strategy, the speaker changes from one language to another, English to Spanish or Spanish to English, according to the person he or she is talking to. A person can also code switch to match the language level of the other party, all right? So, if you are a fluent speaker, right? And then you want to talk to somebody that you know has a lower level, so you have to code switch to his or her level so that person can understand the message. Code switching can also take place in our own language. People tend to code switch when talking to a kid, authority, such as a judge or a police officer, to a good friend, or to match the other participant's gender, also gender, right? Yes, in our own language, when we talk to our friends, our buddies, all right, it's not the same thing when you talk to your parents, right? You don't talk to your parents the same way the formal way you talk to your boss. Good. So that's called switching, even though it's in the same language. And yes, sometimes we also code switch depending on the gender. I'm not going to talk the same way that I talk to a female. I want to talk to a male, right? Different vocabulary, different style. Context plays a role too. People code switch according to a funeral, a party, a business meeting, right? That's also true. Depending your surroundings, where you are, you're at a funeral, you're at a business meeting, you're at an interview, you're talking to a cab driver, okay, you're in the traffic jam. So the context plays a big role when code switching. Next one, determining importance. This strategy is about choosing the appropriate content and language level to reach the intended audience. It is important to get the audience hooked from the beginning so that the message can be fully delivered and well understood. Good. So the speaker has to know the audience and how to get them hooked from the start. The best way to get an audience focused from the start is by selecting content that they are interested on and by delivering the message in a way that and language level they understand and feel comfortable with, right? So that's also those are important factors for the speaker, know the level and know the topic, whatever is they are interested on. Next one, paraphrasing and summarizing. This strategy is used to retain in mind and the meaning of the information given to make sure they understand it fully. Good. So when you get some information, you can summarize it, right? In this way, you make sure you understand the message completely. Listeners and speakers get the most important information from the discourse and retell it to test their understanding and ability to memorize it. Good. So when you have an information, you can retell it to make sure that you understood what was being said. Next strategy, connecting. Learners make connections between new information they are getting and the information they already know. Good. The one they are getting now and the one they already, the previous information. Connecting is important because by combining the new and the previous information, students are able to understand the content better and increase their language and content knowledge. Good. So prior information help us to get this new information, and we can increase our vocabularies and content knowledge. Speakers need to keep in mind that listeners will respond better to topics they know and they are interested on. Very important. Comparing and contrasting. This strategy aims to compare the new information that is being received by the learner to the previous information saved in the learner's mind. Good. So when you get new information, you can compare it in contrast to the one that you already possess. It makes sense. Once the new and the previous information are connected, the learner can compare them and ask as many questions as necessary. Here it goes again. Asking questions is very important. Don't be afraid to ask questions to make sure he or she fully understands the topic being delivered. Good. We compare the new information to the previous information, and as I said, very important, ask questions. Next strategy is inferring. We infer every day. This strategy is about making predictions and drawing conclusions in order to create our own idea about what the message is really about. Inferring is going beyond the real meaning of words and understand what is not being said, but it is inferred in the speaker tone of voice, gestures, and body language. Good. Inferring is getting the message from what is not being said instead of getting the right meaning of words. An example could be, for example, we have a new employee. Okay, with that tone of voice, you can infer that the person is not happy about it. Next one. Synthesizing. A good way to fully comprehend a text or message, learners can use this strategy to put together new information they have just received with the previous information they already know. Synthesize it, make it one. Synthesizing will enable speakers and listeners to fully understand the meaning of a message. Good. And again, comparing the new and previous information. Next one, self-monitoring and self-correction. Last but not least, this strategy consists on being focused on what you are saying. If you're the speaker and making sure that your message is being well understood, right? You're self-monitoring, you're listening to yourself as you speak, so just to make sure that you are saying the right thing so people can understand the right message. If you're the listener, then confirm if what you are hearing makes sense and goes according to the message being delivered. Good. As a listener, I make sure that the new information I'm getting is making sense. If it doesn't, ask questions. The speakers can paraphrase, repeat, and give examples to make the content clear. Good. If you think people are not getting the message, just give examples, paraphrase it. Whereas the listener can ask questions to infer or connect to make sure the message is being well understood. Good. As I already told you, listener can ask questions to make sure the message is fully understood. And these are my references, where I got the information from. Thank you very much. I hope you like my task. Thank you. Stop the share and